Why must I always? What's going on? What is going on? I feel like I already did this. Let me try to log into this really quick. Yo. I don't even know if I have audio or not. Check. Audio. Can anybody hear me? Am I good? Yo. I don't even know if I have audio or not. I believe I do have audio. Cool. So this is really weird that I can't see the chat for some reason, but what's going on, guys? Man, we're doing another stream. Let's put this away. Let's definitely close that. Let's close that. Let's close that for sure. And we are live. We are doing another KILLAVIC music critiques. And I don't know what happened. Yeah. Let's see if I can pin this message. All right. So we are live. Check. Roger that. So after a few technical difficulties, we are live. In fact, we are live with another episode of KILLAVIC Music Critiques. If you guys want your music critiqued, if you need a second opinion, if you want me to listen to something, go check out the link above, submit your music, and we'll get it going from there. Make sure you guys are liking the live. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel. If you guys need anything critiqued by me, if you want me to listen to something, If you need a second opinion on something, submit it over to the link above and we'll get it going. Check, check, check. Check. We are live. So after... Okay, I just had to check my stream because this thing is acting absolutely weird. I really don't like this system. But like I said, if you guys need anything critiqued, you need a second opinion on something, go ahead and send it over. Follow the link above and we'll start doing your music submission, your music critiques. Sorry, I had some... Just waiting for people to hop in. I've never streamed on YouTube like this, so we're actually trying something different. I don't know if YouTube really likes streaming through OBS. I could be wrong, but you guys let me know if you can hear me. Let me know what's going on. What's going on in your life? Now, yesterday we had quite a few submissions. I think I ended up doing like 25 submissions yesterday on YouTube. The day before that, we had 20 on Instagram. So we're getting there. Slowly but surely, but we are getting there. Yannick, what's going on, man? What's going on? Oops. Wrong one. I believe you submitted yesterday, right? Yeah. Yeah, we lost sound. No, we definitely lost sound yesterday, and I'm not sure exactly why, but I have your submission. I believe I still have your submission. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yannick, I believe yours was the 80s type sample, if I'm not mistaken. It was this one, right? This was your submission? I believe it was this one. right, all right, all right. So that was Yannick. I do remember this one. So yeah, this was the 80s sample, I believe you told me. Now that melody, it had me hooked the whole time, which is a very good thing. I think I was saying that yesterday. You could have went one or two ways with this one, right? You could have went the full 80s route, like that higher energy drums, right? But you kind of chose the 808 Trappist way, which I think is a good way to bring it into the modern day. I really like that sound, man. And I actually heard a melody on there. It was going on in my head, and it had a very very modern sound with an 80s sample on it, which I think is amazing. I think it's amazing to when you mix two different genres of music together. I think you did a great job with that one. The mix was clean too, man. The mix is clean. That 808, there's nothing interfering with it. There's no kick drum or nothing. It's just an 808. Let me listen to it again. Yeah. Okay, so it's just an 808, a snap, a snare drum, and a hat. Like, it's super simple. It's super catchy. You got the little vocal sample in there. I really, really like that, man. I really enjoy that. I think maybe if you were going to send it to someone to like actually sing on or rap on, I would definitely add some variation in the drums, you know, because it felt kind of like it was just looping over and over again. But again, that's subjective, right? Because if you have a good artist on the track, the artist will bring life to the track, right? Like, the beat really doesn't have to do much. You really don't have to do much, but that's a good song, man. I really like that beat, man. Thank you for submitting. That was Yannick, everybody. Again, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're tapping the screen, you're liking this live, so we can get this live out to more people, right? Because I think there's a lot of artists out there who would love a second opinion on their music, right? So thank you, Yannick, for submitting. Today seems like a bit of a dry day, right? There's not a lot of people online. I don't know. It's a Saturday. How's everybody's Saturday going? Is it Saturday? I don't even know. I don't even know if it's Saturday or not. Oh my God. For some reason, some days the YouTube algorithm just isn't algorithming, if that makes sense. It's hard out here, you know. Let's see. Oh, we have one submission. You see, I wasn't even paying attention. So we have one submission, right? Next submission is Vigo Beats. If you're in the chat, let me know, and we'll listen to your submission. All right. That was Vigo Beats. Vigo Beats. I love that 808 pattern, man. That 808 pattern, it was very simple, right? Which is good. That's very good. I would say it needed maybe a little more energy mix wise with the melody. Like the drums sounded great, but I feel like it was almost like a little bit, it was a very clean mix, almost too clean, right? Maybe a little bit of, soft saturation on the master could help. I felt like it needed a little more power and punch, if that makes sense, right? Now, granted, all of this can be handled on the back end. Like if you send this to an artist, they got some bars, they're probably going to send it to a mix engineer. And once you get the vocals on there, everything is going to kind of blend together, right? I like the flute melody. That flute melody, I felt like the track needed a little more energy overall, right? Let me listen again, just in case I'm not. Okay. I don't think that what I'm hearing when I say the melody needs energy, right? It's not really the drums. The drums are good. I think maybe a little bit of soft saturation on the melody itself to kind of make it stand out a little more, right? Just a little bit, right? Maybe focus a little bit on the stereo image, like where sounds are in the stereo image, to create a more vibrant foundation for the artist to kind of get immersed into your sound. Because when you send a beat to an artist, they're going to put their headphones on, right? And you have to make them feel how you felt when you were making that beat. Like that's why, I was telling people this yesterday. The intent behind your beats, it really matters. Like the vibe that you were in while you were making that beat, you want to present it to the artist exactly how, like you want them to feel the way you felt when you were making the beat, right? And I think the melody is just the melody, because the drums were good. The drums were hitting right. The drums were smacking, right? The melody just needs a little work mix-wise, I believe. That's what I got from it, I want to come at these critiques from a listener's perspective, right? Like I don't want to be too much of a producer about it, because, Yo, bro, A Major Keys, what's going on, bro? What's going on, man? Yeah, if you have any music that you want to submit, you want me to listen to, you have any music that you want a second opinion on, go ahead and submit to the link above. I pinned it in the chat. And I'll let you know what I think. I'll try to critique your music as well as I can from a listener's perspective. That's key, right? A listener's perspective is key. Like even when you're making beats or you're making music, you want to listen to your music from a listener's perspective, not really from an artist's perspective, because you're going to hear a lot of details that only you can hear, right? If that makes sense. But yeah, man, if you got anything you want to submit, submit to the link above. and I will listen to it. We just have Vigo Beats, you know what I mean? I have to work on this live stream thing. I think that I would prefer having my computer in front of me as opposed to like keep doing this. Like it's a weird camera angle. And I have so much stuff in my studio that like, you know. But yeah, man, continue to tap like on that live stream, man, so we can get this out to as many people as possible. That is the goal, man. We want to spread the love, man. We want to see everybody win, dog. So if you have any beats you need a second opinion on, submit to that link above. But I feel like I'm going to be saying a lot of the same things over and over again when I critique these beats, because vibe is all that matters when you're submitting a song. And as well, also, you have to have a lot of courage to submit your music for someone to openly critique and give their opinion. You have to have a lot of courage. Like, that's not something that's easy for everyone to do. So I appreciate everyone who's submitting music. I appreciate everyone. Let's turn this off because... But that is the first step. You know, that's the first step to getting your music out there. You have to be able to take critique, right? You have to be able for someone to tell you that you're not good and you suck. That is the first step to grow as an artist, right? Let me turn this off. I don't know why this is on. Okay, bet. Send it now. Word up. That is the first step to growing as an artist. You have to be able to take critiques. You have to be able to take, you know, negative comments. It's very hard out here in the creator's world. It's not an easy task. You got to have courage, man. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. So yeah, continue to like the stream, man. Follow. Hit that like button. You know what I mean? Let's get this stream to as many people as possible. I know that this also... So I'm trying a new thing with the streaming, right? I'm trying a new format. This is a more professional format, right? But I feel like I like the other format better when I'm holding the phone. I don't know why. It feels more natural to me. This feels kind of like a... It almost feels too professional, this setup. I don't know if that makes sense. It's not even professional. I'm using my phone and all this stuff, but that's just me. Let me know if you guys are feeling the stream format, man. I'm using this website, you know, it's just easier to keep track of the submissions. All right, looks like we got another submission. We got us another submission. We got another submission by A Major. A Major. Let's check it out. Let's listen to A Major. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. I gotta run that back. Because this sounds like you made all these sounds yourself. These sounds, no samples in it. Let me run that back. All right. A major with a banger, yo. That man, I love the way that beat came in, dog. I love the way that beat came in. So it was like a 2-bar intro, right? But that first guitar, that the way it dropped with the drums, it was a very smooth track. Like definitely some R&B vibes. The mix was clean, man. The mix was clean. It was appropriate for this genre, right? For this genre of R&B, the mixes have to be clean and punchy, right? And that's what you delivered. Clean and punchy. Now, I'm sure you've worked with a lot of artists, I hope, because I don't think you didn't use any samples for this. You played all of this yourself, right? That's what it sounds like. When you get into the room with an artist with this particular beat, I believe a good songwriter will transform this into a great song, right? Because that's their job as a songwriter, you know. I think there's another level for this beat to go. Like there's another place for this beat to go. And I think that can only happen once you get an artist on it, right? Because then once you start working with an artist with this beat, you're going to start to add more drops. You know what I mean? You might filter some stuff out. Your arrangement is going to change, I believe. And I can't tell you how to change it now because that's all based on you working with an artist. So I hope that when this beat gets placed with someone, when you start to work with an artist on this beat, I hope that you're involved in the production part of it, right? So that's a whole nother side. Like when you're working with an artist, they're going to change the way you produce, right? You're going to work off of each other. And I think the arrangement is going to change once you get a vocals on it. It's hard to kind of arrange beats when it's just you as a producer, like just you yourself. No samples. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it sounded like. So I think the arrangement is going to need a little arranging. only because when you get an artist on it, they're going to sing the way they want to sing, and they're going to drop, their cadence is going to change. But this was it was a great beat. It had a great foundation. The mix was clean. It was appropriate for the genre of R&B. And I love that it was no samples. I absolutely love that it was no samples. Like, I believe the last one was no samples as well. I'm not sure. Vigo Beats, I don't know if you use samples or not in that last submission, but I love when people express themselves through sound, like 100% originality. Like, that is, I think, me personally, the best beats I've ever made with an artist, the best outcome, the best song, was through beats that I don't use samples in. Because that is the 100% expression of yourself, right? And I understand. Not everyone knows how to play keys. Not everyone has the right sounds. You know what I'm saying? But loops are cool, right? Loops have their place in music production, right? I'm not saying loops are a bad thing, because loops can definitely help you start a vibe. I remember I was in a studio session with a group called Space Force, right? And this was a very last minute session. Very last minute. I had almost no time to prepare. So I had to use a couple loops, right? In order to kind of start the vibe, get the creative juices flowing, set the tone. I had to start with loops, right? And as the session went on, I added more of my own instrumentation, and it just kind of kept this flow of the session going. This was a 5-day session, by the way. So we made 5 songs in 5 days. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with using loops. It all depends on your situation, right? If you're at home and you have access to good sounds, good VSTs, good keyboards, good synthesizers, definitely use those. The best way to get good at creating samples, creating your own melodies, is to create more melodies. That's the only way you're going to get good. I'm sure A Major can speak on this, right? Because it sounds like he kind of knows how to play the keyboard a little bit. You know what I mean? Definitely better than me, right? But the only way to get better is to create more custom melodies, right? If that's a route, that's another route you can go as a producer, as a beat maker. You don't have to necessarily make beats for artists, right? You could just make loops, right? That's another way. And of course, I'm going to encourage everyone to use every resource you absolutely have as a producer, as a creator. Use every resource you possibly can to get this bag. Be a loop maker. Be a beat maker. Start a beat store. Start a YouTube. Be a content creator. Be a video editor. Be everything you possibly can. Everything you can do in your power. Because in 2026, it's not easy out here. It is not easy out here to be a creator in 2026. A producer, nothing. Anyway, that's my long rant. Make sure you guys are liking the live, because the more you guys like the live, the more it gets spread out into the community, and the more we can spread these music critiques. Because I know me, when I was, even now, I love getting a second opinion on my music, right? To know that I kind of going in the right direction, right? When you're sitting at home and you're making music by yourself, let me like my own live. It's a little hard to, when you're making music by yourself, you really have to get out. At a certain point in time, you have to stop making the beat or the song and get into that listener's mode. That is very hard to do, especially if you're a seasoned producer, if you've been making beats for a while. I think that is something that I'm working on in 2026. These are why I'm doing music critiques. This is why I'm doing music critiques, because I want to listen to more stuff. I want to be a listener, right? And eventually I would like to create from a listener's point of view. I think that is a very crucial skill to have, is to be a good listener, right? You're right, Bo. Just create from the soul. That's right. Create from the soul, man. That's the only way to do it. So if you guys want me to listen to your music, man, just go ahead and submit to the link above, and I'll listen to it, and I'll let you know what I think, man. Let me share this live real quick on... Let me share this live on my Facebook real quick. I got a lot of haters on Facebook, though. A lot. I got a lot of hater rate on Facebook. Let's see if I could get anybody to come to the stream from my Facebook. Live on YouTube doing music critiques. Submit your music now. Link. Opinion. How do you spell opinion? Opinion. Let me put the link to this new site that I'm using, Nero. I think Nero is a pretty cool... okay, I can't do that. Let's post this on Facebook. Let's get some more people. And of course, thank you guys for tuning in, man. I'm happy to help anyone in any way that I can. Let's see if I can get some haters up in here. I don't feel like writing all of that again. But A major, that was fire, dog. That was fire, man. Okay. Share that to groups. If you guys don't use Facebook groups for your niche, you definitely should look into it, because you can share to... There's a bunch of different groups on Facebook. And when you post on Facebook, you can post to those groups. So those people who are in your niche, like, you can get your stuff out to them too. That should be good for now. I'm not going to spam, because, you know, social media don't like spam. I think I could post on YouTube, but I don't know how to do it. Thanks for taking the time to play the music, bro. No doubt, man. No doubt, bro. No doubt. No doubt, dog. No doubt, man. Let's post this up. Let's get this stuff out here. This is why I need a second phone. I need two phones because I really want to help all you guys. I shared it out too. Hopefully we get a bunch of people in here. Run it up YouTube. Yeah, man. I'm not exactly sure how the YouTube live algorithm works, but I know that if you're commenting and you're liking the feed, it'll push it out. But if there's anyone in here and you need a second opinion on some music, you need me to listen to something, submit to the link above and I will give you my honest feedback, if that's what you want to hear, right? You want to hear me talk? Then I'll talk. Word up, man. Where did you get your GoTech for the MPC? I bought my GoTech. It came with the MPC. I'm not going to lie. And it's pretty cool. It's a floppy disk emulator. It uses USB. I use it to, obviously, to boot up the operating system. It's saved on a little USB on there, but I use a SCSI drive. I use a SCSI drive on the back of the MPC. I think that's the best way to save and import sounds. The floppy disks are cool, right? It's just you can only save so much on a floppy disk. It only has so much space. If you have a SCSI drive on the back of your MPC, that's definitely the way to go. 100%. I have both, but I use the SCSI drive more than I do the floppy emulator. All right, so we got another submission by D-Tracks. D-Tracks. If you're in the chat, man, let us know. Let's hear it. D-Tracks with a fire submission. Okay, so my first impression, the first thing I thought of, I was not expecting that the way those drums came in, I was not expecting that at all. That was dope, right? That was dope. At first I was going to say the intro was too long, but the way you brought those drums in, I think it brought everything back in, right? So The main issue I hear with this beat, and I know this because I used to do this all the time. I'm still learning how not to do this. It's a little bit overproduced. There is a lot going on, right? And that's never a good thing. I think you have a lot of elements to work with. I can kind of see how you have this beat layered, and there's a lot of layers, right? There was a percussion instrument in there that was probably part of the drum track that probably didn't need to be in there. The main flute melody, I think that can cut back a little bit. Bring it in maybe every 4 bars or something, like at the end, right? But I think it was a little bit overproduced. The sound is there. The vibe is there. I love the way you brought them drums in. You know, drums is one of the most important part of the song. It's the foundation along with the bass, right? It was overproduced. You have to take things out. You have to kind of play Tetris with these sounds. Right? You can't just jam them all together because it's a lot for the listener to listen for. You're kind of overloading the listener's brain, right? And trust me, I used to do this all the time. I used to do this shit all the time. So if it was me making the beat, I would look at every sound you have, right? Leave the drums. The drums are fine. There was one perk in there. It was like a that just didn't need to be there. But the drums are fine. But those Rhodes, very clean, right? The flute melody on top, it didn't need to be looped over and over again. Like you could bring that in every now and then. But you see, this happens a lot. This happens to me it used to happen to me all the time, right? When you're producing, right? When you're making a beat, when you're making a song, especially if you're just making a beat, if you're a producer and you don't have an artist in the room with you, your brain is looking for something. That's why you keep adding things. Because your brain is looking for that missing element, right? And the missing element is a vocal, is another person's energy. That's the missing element. So if you don't understand this concept of overproducing, you have to study this idea of just keeping things simple, right? Leaving space for the artist to put his own creative energy into it, right? Because as producers, I mean, we love our sound, right? We love our sound. If it was up to me, I mean, I wouldn't even work with artists, really. I would just put stuff out on Spotify, which I do. I have a Spotify. I have a bunch of music on Spotify. It's just beats. But ultimately, this sounds like a beat. You can probably get someone to rap on it, right? You could probably get someone to make a song. It just needs, the arrangement needs to be you got to Tetris that arrangement, right? You got to figure out when to bring this in and when not to bring this in. Don't just jam everything in at the same time. Space is my favorite instrument. Space is my favorite instrument. I hear you. Less is more. Thank you. No problem, bro. No problem. D tracks. No problem. Anytime, man. The art of silence. I think that's you can look that up. The art of silence in music is something that has to be studied. Because the way I learned how to make more space in a track is listening for silence in the track, if that makes sense, right? Because sometimes you'll definitely hear the space when you overproduce and you put a bunch of sounds, right? When you start to pull those layers, just one sound at a time with the drums and bass, you'll start to hear the space. You'll start to hear the silence. And that silence and space is where the artist goes, right? Don't fill that. Leave that space for the artist. Don't try to, Mozart freaking keyboard solo throughout the whole thing. Like it's unnecessary, because as producers, we're only doing, we're doing 50% of the work, right? Well, sometimes more, because if you write and whatever, but that's, making music, making rap, making hip hop, whatever. It's a collaborative genre. Like, you have to work with other people, right? I mean, you don't have to. You can get into sync work and all that, right? But the heart and soul of hip hop and rap and trap and boom bap, you know what I mean, is collaboration, right? Even if you're a rapper, an artist, work with producers. Like, reach out to them if you can, and just say, hey, put your own input on the production work. All right, so we have another submish. Devour by Last Run. Last Run, if you're in the chat, let us know, man. Let us know you're in the chat. Let everyone know who you are. Let everyone know if you're someone that they should follow, right? We'll see. Devour by Last Run.
Headed for Nausicaa, wearing Nautica, playing Nautilus. Fresh to death, you wouldn't believe how cramped the coffin is. Adopted as a baby, been killing it since the orphanage. My mind swimming through dark waters like an orca's fins. Drake got Conductor Williams, cults like the orchestra. Metaphors make me feel good, got my endorphins up. Diss me in the dream, you better wake up and apologize. Broke, but I talk about cream, I like to prophesize. This is real life, not a game. I don't role play, they ain't been killing it in the wild, that's a cold case. I'm off the beaten path trying to rescue the princess. An old beware sign isn't really a big threat. I'll make a believer out of an assassin, have him speaking in tongues. The bad language got me backtracking back to fight the power. When Chuck would hold the mic with power, knowledge itself had you feeling higher than the Eiffel Tower. Some bark with no bite, I'm the type to devour. And some bark with no bite, I'm the type to devour. Yeah. I'm feeling like Rabbit versus the free world. The way I rock it, got it feeling like a dream world. I got sick and nobody cared. My deathbed, nobody's there. Now I'm back to life and everybody cheers. And I don't need a mirror, my reflection's internal. I'm writing words of life in an effervescent journal. How they playing chicken with no respect for the kernel. Every thought hot, it's an intellectual inferno. I should change my name to Mike Buddha and start rocking a bandana with the spiked gloves. My goon caliber got me feeling like Frank White, and keeping them on ice is the way I show love. And thoughts like a laser beam, what's firepower? I got my white overalls and this fire flower. They try to leave out I, but let me buy a vowel. They still try to break laws, turn the siren louder. Some bark with no bite, I'm the type to devour. And some bark with no bite, I'm the type to devour.
Okay. All right. I was about to ask that. Okay. Last Run. I produced this. My homie Michael M. with the rhymes. I was just talking about this, right? This sounded like the perfect collaboration between two energies, between two people. One quick question. Who mixed it? That's my question I'm going to put out there. This song was exactly what it needed to be. It's hard to critique this one because it was exactly the song it needed to be, if that makes sense. It didn't need anything else. You guys, listen. So if you heard, it was a drum, a bass, and a sample chop. And that's it. Right? Simple. Easy to rap on. The bounce in the drums was that snare was cracking. That snare was absolutely cracking. Bro, I love that track, man. That sounded like some real authentic rap. Some boom with some boom bap type shit. But like modern, right? It's not old school. Like it's modern, bro. Like, yo, that was everything done on the MPC-1. Vocals too. That's crazy, dog. Yo, that's crazy, dog. You did vocals on the MPC-1? I don't have an MPC-1, but I don't know if that's an easy task or not, but you made it happen. Bro, that was dope. Those drums were on point. The drums were where they needed to be level-wise. The vocals were riding perfectly over the beat. And I think a reason for that is because there was room for the vocals to sit in. There wasn't much going on with the beat. I don't think you really have to do much. Maybe, I mean, this is normal practice, but you can send it to someone else to get mixed, right? To get another, another ear on it. That's key with these productions. Like if you look at professionally mixed and mastered songs, professionally produced songs, if you look at the song credits, there's like 5 million people. So that's like 5 million ears listening to this track. And, even submitting it here, right? You're getting more opinions on it, right? Appreciate that. No problem, bro. So you produced this, right? And your boy Michael M. So let me get this out there. Let's get this out the way. I'm KILLAVIC, Billboard charting producer, if that matters. It doesn't. If you guys need a second opinion on any music, you want to submit any music to me to listen to, go to the site above. I pinned it in the comments. Submit your music and I'll listen to it if you need a second opinion. If you want to hear me talk for like 45 minutes, but anyway, I just had to get that out there. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this. That last submission was fire. So everybody, make sure you're make sure you're checking everybody out on Instagram, right? Because that is the ultimate goal of this, is to create a community, create conversations, create controversial viewpoints, create opposing viewpoints. That's how you grow as a community, right? That's how you grow as a person, when you hear other people tell you where you're lacking. And, only a real one is going to tell you where you're lacking, right? So, all right. So we got another submission. Also, everybody send me a DM on Instagram as well. You could probably send it on Facebook too, but I'm still trying to figure out a system to keep track of everyone, right? Because I want to create a small community, right? So make sure everyone's sending me a DM on Instagram, or just reach out to me so I can have you listed, right? I think this saves it. I don't know. But we're going to go on to the next submission. The next submission was submitted by Killerin, I believe. Killerin. Overdose. Take care. Oops. Oh, this is a link. All right, it's a Google Drive link. All right. Killerin, make sure you're typing in the chat so people know who you are. Okay, so if you're in the chat, let me know how long you've been making beats, right? Because it sounds like not that long, right? And that's okay. That's okay, because we all been there, right? First thing that stood out to me was the snare. It was way too loud. That snare got to be taken down a notch. It was very, very loud, right? The hi-hats were kind of like harsh. So you probably got to bring that volume down. Bring those volumes down, right? The overall issue with this beat. So I think the first issue is the arrangement, right? It was kind of very repetitive, but not in a good way, right? So maybe every 4 bars, try to switch up the melody. The strings sounded very generic, if that makes sense, right? If you sent this to an artist, they probably won't rap on it, in my opinion. They'll probably pass. And if they do rap on it, they're doing you a big favor, right? So I have a lot to say about this, because I remember when I first started making beats, I was using stock Fruity Loop stuff and stock sounds because that was all I had, right? And I was just vibing, right? This is my first time really making something. I think you have the idea, right? You have a feeling inside of you that you want to make beats, right? And everyone starts from somewhere, right? So this is a topic that I've been trying to tackle. Like, I want to make a video about it, but I don't know how to tackle it. But why do some people have this creative energy that sounds better than like other people's creative energy? Some people have to try harder to be creative. Now, one thing I would say about this beat, though, there was only really 2 sounds in the melody. So there was actually a lot of space. There was a lot of space, which is good, right? That's how you should be creating all your beats, with space. 1 sound in the melody, switch it up every 4 bars, right? This beat, I'm sure this is what I do, but I'm making them on my phone. Okay, I'm making them on my phone. I spoke about this yesterday. It's the second beat I've heard of someone making it on their phone. I don't like making beats on my phone. Granted, this beat didn't sound terrible, and there are some people who can make beats on mobile, right? I don't like the way they sound. I knew it was something. Again, this is the second beat, and it was very harsh in the high end. So I think it's just the volumes are weird when you make beats on the phone, right? Like the volume levels, when you try to balance. I don't think anyone is mixing on their phones. I think I can go out and say that. But making beats on your phone is a good way to start, right? Because we all have to start somewhere. And if that's what you have right now, that's what you have. That actually changes a lot of things now. Now that you said you made the beat on the phone. Definitely look into a DAW on the computer, right? Whether it be FL, Ableton, whatever, it don't matter. Or you can get an MPC, you know what I mean? If that's what you're looking to do. Definitely get a modern MPC to start. I mean, I guess you could start with a classic MPC if you got the cash for it, but it's hard. But anyway, I think you have an idea, and I think you're going in the right direction. I'm telling you that this was me. When I first started making beats, I didn't know what I was doing. And the fact that you put together an arrangement on the phone, that's kind of... you're going in the right direction, man. Keep on making beats. Scrap this beat completely. Just delete it. Don't even worry about it. Trust me. Delete this beat and start a whole nother one. And just remember to keep your levels down. Keep your levels down, right? The loudest thing, I guess, you can start with the kick drum or the 808. Start there and then kind of mix downwards, into the kick, snare, hi-hats a little bit under, you know what I mean? Melody a little bit over that. Just focus on your volumes, because this was way too loud and like not in a good way. But sometimes it works. I mean, sometimes, so keep it so you can come back in 5 years and have a laugh. Yeah. You could. I guess you can keep it in a MP3 format, put it somewhere, right? I used to have a bunch of beats from my early days, and it was so it was nice to listen to them, I guess, to see how far you've come. But you'll learn, just keep on making beats, man. Keep on making beats. If you're self-conscious, if you don't know if your stuff sounds good or not, right now it doesn't sound that good, right? But the key to that is to keep on going. Don't get discouraged by what anyone says, right? Because if you have a passion for this music, you will do it even if you were by yourself. You would make music, right? You don't worry about what anyone says. You can get second opinions on your music, maybe to help you guide you in a certain way, right? To hear someone who's more experienced in making beats. You always want to value that person's opinion. But just keep on making beats, man. I hate when people get discouraged by these opinions, right? I remember I entered a beat battle back in, I think it was 2016 or 2015 or 2014, I think. And it was S1, Decap, and someone else, Smitty, I think his name was, or something like that. And they pretty much told me that my shit was whack. My beats were not good, right? And I remember the feeling I had. Like, I felt a little bit discouraged and played out, right? But I kept on going. Keep on making beats. And if this is really for you, you're going to stand the test of time, right? You're going to get to the place that you hear in your mind. All right. So that was Killerin. Make sure you guys are following each other. My first beat sound like ass. All right. So our next submission, I want to say is Chakra Tray. I don't know if I said that right. Chakra Tray. If you're in the comments, let everyone know you're here. We're about to play Shukra. Know what I mean?
I need you here with me. Baby, we can't be enemies. I said what will be, will be.
Hey, Tenfo, you
I
go
said what
crazy.
will be. Either fly or drown with me. Turn them off, no pals with me. Run it back as time will see. I seen some shit you can't believe. Ducking, dodging these memories. I love you, no felony. Took the yacht across the 7 seas. My new Taylor, she fitted me. Engine roaring so heavenly. She know she the one that I need. All these questions, the fifth I plead. When I'm wrong, she correct my speech. If they not helping, they at least not too many ahead of me. My last one trying dead to me. Trying but dead to me. We turning over a leaf. The new ones was bedding me. It's getting harder to leave. Come and share this bed with me. Hope she fuck with me for me. Ducking, dodging these felonies. Had me holding on to this grief in the V. Can you take the wheel? Come and fly with me. Can't you see I'm the one that steals every heart that beats? Recently, it's a zipper week. What is wrong with me? I can't quit. Yeah, it helps me sleep and fucks up my peace. Fine with me, fine with you. I've been outside, let me through. Sights from my side, pay-per-view. Skate no inline, catch what's new. Watch me paint a point of view. You need me, do I need you? I'm exhausted, but I know that you're my muse.
Okay. All right. Let me
Move On Health Urgent Care has you covered with quick, convenient cold and flu care this winter. Our experts are here when you need us with evening and week.
All right. Okay. I might have to listen to it again. Because I have a couple opinions and I want to make sure that the vibe was there. If you were looking for a vibe check, the vibe was there, right? I like the melodies that you were doing with your vocal, right? I like what you were doing with the melodies. I wish you would have switched up the variation of those notes every now and then. Maybe try a different flow, like at the end of every 8 bars, kind of switch up your flow a little bit. But the melody and tonality of your vocals on that beat, it fit really well, right? I think for me personally, I was hearing melodies, right? I was hearing melodies that were not there. So let me listen to it one more time.
We can't be enemies. I need you here with me. Baby, we can't be enemies. I said what will be, will be.
Hey, Tiffo,
I said what will be, will. Either fly or drown with me. Turn them off, no pals of me. Run it back as time will see. I seen some shit you can't believe. Duck and dodge in these memories. I love you, no felony. Took the yacht across the 7 seas. My new Taylor, she fitted me. Angel orange, so heavenly. She know she the one that I need. All these questions, the fifth I plead. When I run shit to wreck my speech. If they not helping, they at least not too many ahead of me. My last one trying dead to me. Trying but dead to me. We turning over a leaf. The new ones was bedding me. It's getting harder to leave. Come and share this bed with me. Hope she fuck with me for me. Ducking, dodging these felonies. Had me holding on to this grief in the V. Can you take the wheel? Come and fly with me. Can't you see? I'm the one that steals every heart that beats. Recently, it's a zipper week. What is wrong with me? I can't quit. Yeah, it helps me sleep and fucks up my peace. Fine with me, fine with you. I've been outside, let me through. Sight from my side, pay-per-view.
Yeah, so I would definitely flex a little bit with your vocals, right? You know, don't be afraid to go. I feel like you were stuck in this one note range. It was like 2 or 3 notes, which is good, right? It's good to keep it simple for most of the track, but every now and then, you know what I mean? Flex your vocals a little bit. And then you bring it back to that simple flow, right? You bring it back. That's kind of what I was doing, right? It's kind of like, so this song, it feels like you're taking someone on a ride, right? You're going on a ride. And if you stay here most of the time, it's not like, it can be more exciting, right? So, you know, you have the foundation of your vocals, right? You have where there need to be. That's the like, it was there for the most part. But every now and then, you know, put a little break of silence in there. You know what I mean? Like, freak it a little bit, right? And, you know, those are just small things that you could change. I mean, the foundation of the track is there. You know what I mean? Like, there was a little bit of distortion slightly in the vocal, right? I mean, like a little bit. I don't think it takes away from the vibe of the track, really. You know what I mean? The vibe is there. I wish there was a little more in the vocal performance that kind of showcased a little more of who you are as an artist, right? And you can portray that with your voice. Like, that's your paintbrush right there, is your voice, right? You don't want to go too crazy with it. Like, you know, you don't want to do these crazy like Mariah Carey vocal runs and shit like that. But, you know, just like a little bit more in that vocal to kind of, you know, you want people to feel how you felt when you were making that song, right? Like, you want people to feel it, because that is what's going to, that energy, people feel that energy subconsciously, right? And sometimes songs are a little too dead feeling, right? But this one definitely, it was taking you on a ride. Like if you close your eyes and you listen to it. So one thing that I like to do, right? Like when I'm working on a song is step out of the room, if that makes sense. Go to another room. Leave the door open. Go to another room and listen to the song and let the song, what you hear, dictate what you're going to do next, right? Because you'll start to hear things. When you take a step back, you'll start to hear things that are not there. And I think that is your creative side telling you like it's the song is guiding you where it needs to go, right? So this all ties back into having the listener's ear. Having a listener's ear is very important, right? Like that's something that everyone should train. Like you have to train that. Because sometimes as an artist, you get too sucked into the artistry. You get too sucked into the track that sometimes you got to take a step back and listen to it. And you're going to start to hear things that aren't there. And those things, try them out, right? But nah. The vibe was there. This is your sound, right? Like I'm sure you have some more songs that sound like this. This is your sound. Now you got the whole, like, I don't know what you're doing to push this song out as far as content creation, your social media presence, that whole game. It's very tiring. But definitely push this song out. I don't know if you guys heard this before, but it takes at least like 7 times for someone to hear your song for them to actually listen to it. If you're independent and you're coming up and nobody knows you, it's either you have to constantly push this out on social media, make a bunch of different videos with your phone, nothing crazy, copy people what they do on TikTok. People be doing the same shit over and over again. But the key is to get the content out, push this song out. Because the way you market this song and the way you push it out is just as important as the song itself, if not more important. Because if you have a song and nobody hears it, what was the point of making the song, right? So that's something that I'm going to say to everyone every time, is that you're making music, dope. What are you doing to get it heard, right? And one of the only ways right now is through social media, through creating content and coming at content from every angle that you possibly can, right? I'm going to tell everybody this because I want to see everybody win, for real. There's a lot of people with talent. This song, the last song that I heard, I want to see these songs moving. I want to see motion. Right? I want people to feel the energy that you had when you were making the song. And the only way to do that is to get it out there. Now, the second way that people listen to your music is if somebody else tells them to listen to your music. That's something else that you got to study up. How do you get people to share your music? Because that is the biggest thing that it keeps people down from growing, is that nobody wants to share your music. So maybe you have to present something more than just music, right? And everything that we have unique to us is our personality. Our personality is, everyone has a different personality. You just got to let it out. You got to let that thing out. You know what I mean? But that's my 2 cents on everything. So question, how, if you've been doing it for a while, when times like this come, how do you know what to choose as a producer? You're partial to almost all of what you create. Are you saying like, you like everything you make, so you don't know what's good or not to the world, to the listeners? Is that what you're trying to say? Because that is a struggle that I believe every creative deals with, even at the highest levels. Like, there's two ways to approach that. There's two ways. Well, for me, there's only one way to approach that. Keep making music, as much music as you can, until you get to the level where you want to be. And don't worry about the world right now. When you're first making music, don't worry about what people are going to say or what people think sounds good or not. Just try to make the best possible product that sounds good to you, right? And just keep on doing that. Keep on doing that. Keep on doing that. Because that is, you're creating a sound. That is the overall goal of any creator, is to create your own sound. At least it should be, right? The only way you're going to create your own sound is if you keep on making music. Just keep making music, and you're going to learn what sounds good and what doesn't sound good. I don't think, if you're just working by yourself and you don't have someone else's second opinion, just keep on making music. And eventually, you're going to start to hear your own progression. Like, oh, wow, this is actually starting to sound a little better, a little better. You can listen to reference tracks, listen to professionally mixed and mastered songs, right? And try to copy. Do that a lot. That'll help you learn what sounds good and what doesn't, right? Go back to your old productions, listen to them, and be like, wow, that actually sounds like trash. I hear it now, right? The listener's ear. If I can go back in time and tell my young producer self something, is I would say, try not to lose your listener's ear, because that is the most valuable thing you can have, right? Your listener's ear. It's one of the most valuable, right? Listening to your music from a different perspective, right? All right, what's our next submission, man? Our next submission. All right. This is from Love Nathan. Love Nathan, man. Love Nathan. If you in the chat, let everyone know. Also, if anyone's in the chat just watching and you want me to listen to a song, you want me to critique it, you want me to give a second opinion, you want me to tell you you suck, submit to the link above, and I will do that for you. All right? So we got Love Nathan. If you're in the chat, let everyone know you're here, man. Let everyone know who you are, and we'll see what you got.
You see here, kid? You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump.
All right, so that was Love Nathan. Love Nathan. Them lines made me cry. I don't know what that means, but them lines made me cry. So, are you talking about the sample in the beginning? I guess let me listen to it again because I didn't really hear what it said. That could be a mixing decision. I don't know.
You see here, kid? You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump. You see here, kid? You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after or what came before. You just gotta bend your knees, take a deep breath, and jump.
All right, yeah, that was pretty deep, you know. So right off the rip, I can kind of hear it's a little bit the melody, the main melody, and the 808. I don't think they were really playing nice together. There were some frequencies clashing there, right? And that could be the tonality of that synth that you had. Maybe if you change that sound, I don't think, maybe EQing could help, but it sounds like there could be something on your master bus that's kind of squishing everything together. But the vibe itself, I don't know if you do this, but this is something that I definitely do, is when you're making a beat, you should try different keys. Like, I don't know if you do it, but maybe bring to see if you can get the melody in that 808 to kind of mesh a little bit better together. Because I think there was some clashing, right? And it was making everything feel a little squashed. So when a listener hears that, it's kind of hard to. I was having a hard time trying to hear like a rapper over it, right? Because I mean that's the ultimate goal, right? The goal is to get these beats to artists, right? I mean, why else? Unless you're doing sync work, but I think the issue with that one was mixing. The levels were not super balanced out, if that makes sense. The vibe, you would have to find a very specific artist to rap on that, right? You know, you want to make things easy for the rapper, you know? And depending on who you're working with, unless you're making beats for yourself, then I guess none of that really matters, right? I've been using God Particle. So sometimes God Particle, I have God Particle. God Particle is a good plugin, right? God Particle is a good plugin. You just have to make sure that the levels going into God Particle are clean. You have to make sure that the mix sounds good before you turn on God Particle, right? Everything has to be leveled. So if it was me, most of the time I don't have anything on my master. When I'm making the beat, I don't have anything on my master. I'm doing all the mix work, you know, in the tracks. I don't have nothing on my master. Inside the DAW, I just turn all the tracks down to like -6, and then I crank up my speakers if I want it loud. If you know, I love making beats loud, so crank up your speakers a little more and just make sure you're peaking at about -5, -6. And if your mix is sounding clean at -5, -6, when you turn on God Particle, it's going to sound a lot better. But I think the 808s were squashing things, right? And that's another skill that, or maybe the melody and the 808 just didn't match perfectly, right? I would try changing out that melody sound or changing out the 808 maybe trying no, I think that beat needs an 808. Sometimes you could just use a bass sound and then a kick drum, you know what I mean? But I think that beat heavily relied on 808. But you know, it's always better to send a clean mix than like a really loud distorted master. Like, I don't care what anyone says, because I can turn up the volume over here. People can turn up their volumes, right? But if you send like a really overly distorted mix that has no space in it, and it's just not gonna do as well. I sent one more. I got you. Listen to my ears. Oh, but works just fine. Thank you. I'm watching and keep. Yeah, man. Hey, like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. You know what I mean? If you know anyone that needs second opinions, hit them up. If you guys need any music critiqued, if you're sitting in the chat just watching, you want me to listen to some music, submit it over to the link right here, and we'll get it going. I've been trying to figure out mastering the beat, but I can. But at the end of the day, people saying if it gets places somewhere else is gonna have it mixed. Yeah. Ultimately, someone else is gonna have it mixed. Yes, the artist will have it mixed, right? If they were feeling the vibe, yeah, they're gonna take the beat, they're gonna have it mixed themselves. You know, but you want to do the best you can when you submit your music to artists, right? And sometimes less is more. You don't got to do much. To be honest, if your sound selection is good, you don't have to mix that much. And that's a fact. If your sound selection is good, if you find yourself overly mixing, like if you're in the EQ doing crazy cuts and stuff like that, the sound isn't good. Change the sound. That's half of the battle. That's 80% of the battle is good sound selection, right? You start with good sound selection. Next, you move on to levels. You balance out the mix. You know, you start at the 808, you move down slightly from there. And just balance things out, because mixing is just managing volume levels, right? You're managing volume levels on the faders, on the input gain, the output gain. You're managing levels on the frequencies, on the EQ. You're just managing levels. So make sure they're balanced and make sure you can hear everything clearly, right? All right. Get him to say, yes, I need that. Right. All right. So the next one is ellipsis. Hyperbole. I think that's how you say that. Ellipsis. If you're in the chat, let them know. I think I saw you already. Do you master in a different project? Me, I don't really master in a different project, no. Because there's really not much going on anyway. And I make my beats with nothing on the master, so you could go ahead and throw God Particle once you're finished with your mix on the end, and it'll get it where you need to be. You can, I guess. I guess the benefits of mastering in a different project the real importance of that, the real trick to mastering in it is you have to take a break from the beat for like a couple of hours, maybe even a day. If you're a real professional and you don't have a second opinion, you don't have a mastering engineer, you have to take a break from that beat for like a day. Like, don't listen to it. And then come back to it the next day, and you're going to hear it from a totally different perspective, right? You might change a few things. Take another break, come back to it, and then master it, right? Because a good master is only as good as a good mix. If the mix is good, then the master is going to be even better. If the mix is bad, the master probably won't help at all, right? All right. So, ellipsis. Ellipsis. right, Ellipsis. Thank you for submitting your music. It takes a lot of courage to submit your music to someone to openly critique it, right? So I applaud you. I applaud everyone who's submitting. I like the vibe of that track, man. It was kind of like a beachy, almost like a car drive type vibe, right? I think the drums were good. The drums were pretty solid throughout the whole thing. My biggest critique is at times it seems like there was a lot going on and I got a little like disorientated from everything that was going on. So like when those chords came in, those real like stabbing chords, like and there was like another melody going on behind it. And then the bass line had a lot going on, right? So I think this is another, for me, this is another issue of playing Tetris with the sounds, right? Taking some things out that don't need to be there and bringing them back. Like sometimes less is more, right? And this song was about 4 minutes long. Now, 4 minutes long is cool in a dance track if the groove is like very infectious, if that makes sense, right? The bass line, it was a solid bass line, right? But I think at times it needed to take a step back a little bit, especially when you brought those chords in. When you brought the chords in, I even think that the sound of the chords could have been maybe filtered a little bit, or maybe the timbre, right, could have been changed a little bit. But overall, I understood the vibe of the song, right? It made me want to dance, right? I'm sure, I don't know if you, like, do you do car test at all? Like, do you listen to your songs on other systems, right? Because that can help you identify if there's too much going on. Less is more, right? I think I heard a guitar in there, and then I heard the chords, and then I heard the bass line that was going, the bass line had a lot of notes. That's something that you also have to pay attention to. Like if you have too many notes in a bass line, it can kind of be a little bit like too much, right? But I think that this was the mix was great. Maybe the drums could have been a little bit more punchy, right? They could have cut through a little bit more, but the mix was great. I love the sound of the low end. The low end was clean, right? There wasn't no overly dramatic low end. It was all clean, right? So I really enjoyed the way you mixed that record, right? At times it felt repetitive, like it was a lot going on at times, right? So no, I think it says here's an instrumental on my upcoming single. I wanted to make something next to my music taste. Synth pop. Yeah, synth pop. No, it's definitely synth pop. If you listen to synth pop, right? If you listen to the genre as a whole, at times it can be very like in your face, right? Like the drums are snapping, right? Maybe your drums could have snapped a little bit more. Maybe focus on the drums a little bit, get them a little more present, in front of the mix, and then work on the bass behind it, and then the chords behind it, and that's all done by leveling, I think it's those chords that were throwing me off a little bit. Those chords that that could probably be changed, or just leveled. Maybe turn them down. But again, you know, that's my opinion. If this is what you were going for, then this is your song. This is you. You know, this is the sound that you heard in your head. This is it. Right? Put it out. Get to the next one. Right? And when I say put it out, I mean sell this song. Like sometimes the music is good, right? But sometimes the way you present a song makes people like it more, right? So definitely when you go to promote this song, you have to really promote this song. Don't just upload it to YouTube and Spotify, whatever, and don't just leave it there, because nobody's going to listen to it, right? The key is to get people, the more people you get to hear it, the more people you can convert into fans. Because for me personally, for every like 1,000 people that hear my music, like maybe 2 of them actually stick around. So it's a numbers game, and it's very hard. This music game is not easy. You have to be a very rough individual. Like you have to be able to take critiques. You have to know when to grow. You have to know when to move. You have to know, you know, if somebody tells you your music isn't good, you have to know how to take that. Don't get discouraged by anyone, right? Not even like, don't even. So no, this will be a good release, man. And I really appreciate you submitting your music to be critiqued by me. But that's what I would say. I would say that maybe at times there was a lot going on, especially when you brought the guitar in there with the chords at the same time. It's like I barely heard the guitar. And that is the trick to mixing, is hearing every element of your music clearly. I want to hear everything clearly, but not at the same time. If you put them at the same time, you're not going to hear anything. So, you know, having that bass line and then those chords at the same time, it's like they were fighting for the show, for the front end, you know what I mean? Like, so that's just arrangement. That's just arrangement fixes, you know? I call it Tetris. You got to learn how to play Tetris with your sounds to make everything fit and everything have their own space, right? Thanks. Yeah, no, that's no, thank you guys. Thank you guys for submitting. It takes a lot of courage to submit your work to someone to be openly critiqued like this. If you guys have any music you want me to critique, send it over to the link above. Subscribe to the channel, you know, if you want to be notified next time I do this. Make sure you're liking the live, because when you like the live, when you like the video, it pushes it out to more people. So that definitely helps me. It helps everyone, because I want to see everybody win ultimately. If you're out here putting out music to be critiqued by someone like this, you're trying to take the steps forward as an artist to reach the next levels that you want to be at. And you can only do that by taking that first step out. Even if your music isn't good, you got to get people to listen to it somehow. So, thank you for submitting. And everyone, follow me on Instagram. Send me a message so I can keep you in, so I can have a track of who you are. I'm still trying to figure out that part of this whole thing, because I want to be able to track everyone to see how they're progressing, right? Because I like music, and I like to see people grow. And if I can take a part of any part of your journey, even the smallest little part, you know, I'm proud of that, right? So our next submission is we got D-Tracks. We back. right, all right, all right. I have to listen to. No, don't do that. Okay. I have to listen to what you submitted last time. Okay, you can't do that. I have to listen to your last submission. Okay. Okay. I like this one a lot better. I'll say that. I like this one a lot better. I love this one way better. This one, I feel like you were in your bag. I don't know. There was something different about it. It was a little more bouncy, right? That old school boom bap. That's your bag right there. Like the sounds, the samples were clear. The drums were bouncing. That boom bap bounce, that swing, it was there. This is your bag. This is your sound right here. The other one was dope too, but this one was better. You know, that's another thing. As producers, you got to find your style. The beats that you find the easiest to make, the beats that give you goosebumps, those are your beats. That's your sound. And this one, I like this one much better. I like this one much better. That bounce, that horn stab, that, you know, that old school, that was dope, man. If I was to say that anything, maybe one of the samples was a little bit too loud, right? Just level things out a little better, right? Balance out your volumes, because the drums are always going to be up front. With that boom bap style, the drums are always going to be up front. Drums, bass, and then the melodies under that. Sometimes you can get a little carried away and put the melody too loud, but you just got to figure out that volume balancing, right? But the vibe, that was the vibe, man. That old school boom bap, that was fire, dog. Like, there's still a crowd for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you start to post your beats online, there's still people listening to boom bap all over the world. So, nah, that was dope, man. I love that boom bap style, and I know it's good to be versatile as a producer, but it's also good to be very good at one thing than like mediocre at a bunch of things, if that makes sense. So you were very good at this style of beat, man. I love that. That was D Tracks, man. D Tracks. He knows what it is. Thank you for submitting. Whoa. I got to choose between trap and bap. So the only reason that I make trap beats is because I know that a couple artists that I work with, they like trap beats, right? But if you don't know how to make trap beats, then I wouldn't really, I mean, you know, you can learn how to make trap beats, right? But you want to work with people who want to work with your sound. That's going to be the easiest collaboration ever. Somebody who comes to you for that specific sound, whether it be old school boom bap, modern boom bap, trap, whatever, if they're coming to you for your sound, that's going to be the easiest collaboration in your life because you already know what you're doing. The hardest thing is to collaborate with people and like your styles don't match, right? You got to stay true to your style and who you are. and attract those same like-minded individuals. Because if you're not really a trap producer like that, the beats aren't really gonna shine unless you work with artists personally, like you know them personally, and they know who you are and they know your sound, they know what you're capable of, and they like your sound. Then yeah, if they want a trap beat, give them a trap beat. You know what I mean? But if you're working with random people online, if you're really good at boom bap, then go in on the boom bap. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's good to be versatile. It's good to be versatile. It's good to have a lot of tools in your bag, right? Because you never know when you're going to be in a studio situation where you just never know what you need out that toolbox. And the more tools you have at your access, the more better you're going to look. All right, so the next submission is Money Money by Vigo Beats and Mac Teflon. Shout out to Mac Teflon. Vigo Beats, Money Money. Let's get it.
To relax.
Freaking ads. Why do they have ads on SoundCloud? That's crazy. So we got to wait a little bit. They want to advertise, I'm going to advertise. Yo, thank you everybody for submitting music. If you want me to, I'm KILLAVIC, #1 Billboard charting producer. I've worked with plenty of artists. I've made probably 1 million beats in my life. If you need a second opinion, you want me to listen to some music, you want me to tell you suck, submit your music to the link above and we'll get it going. It takes a lot of courage to submit your music, so I appreciate every one of you. Make sure that you're liking the live and subscribing to the channel, because you don't want to miss when I do these live critiques, man.
Another planet, yeah, they become a tier 1. I be on point like a decibel, and I keep the tummy with me like a jellicle. So don't make me demonstrate. Then I go pop, pop, yeah, it sound like a chicken. That can't go rata. The silence will say, it sound like he hates and had a glove on when I cut her like a doctor. Couldn't fuck a bird like a grizzly, bout my bread like a pigeon. She gave me head and tail like she was a pigeon. All the bitches love that money, 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 money. Let me know and don't be scared to let it blow. Why? Cause I had them Haitians spraying at your head like oil shane. Do an afro. I've been in that water since I was a youngin'. I ain't talking tadpole. I never fold like a lunch. I done been through more shit than the asshole. For real. I'm up now, fuck next, and you rappers can get in line behind me like a butt crack. I be treating these bitches like cars. Cause after I fuck, I dodge and charge. I'm busting the wall like top. I'm ready to crank up and you little nigga need to start. I be fly out there to bring God. For my niggas become a target. Popping like a Fago. We get the money and kick it. Jago ain't talking no pressure, but I'll hop out with this Draco. These niggas squared in the boxing ring, put a hole in them like a rotten teeth. I'm on their ass like boxing brief. I'm by my horn like a slot machine. Count money in my sleep. I got a different bitch for every day of the week. And these bitches will change on you like a stick, so you gotta watch them like a petty fillet. Buy my cheese like nacho. I'm in these streets like a pothole. I bump that hole like a skeleton. Boy, they 50 can put a hole in the elephant.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. They love that money, all right. So I love the vibe of that track because it reminded me, it had kind of like a not old school, but like, I don't know if I'm bugging, but like kind of like a 3-6 Mafia, like Bone Thugs type melody going on, like the melody itself. I don't know if I'm tripping, but that's like the vibe I was getting. The snare was too loud, right? You never want to have the snare over the vocals. Like that's a no-go. Like the vocals is number one. But the bass sounded great. The low end was great. The vocals, the performance at times, I couldn't understand what he was saying at times because of, I think there was like a background, like an ad lib or a double. The double, it kind of threw off the vocal track a little bit. But besides that, it really all depends on, I have to see the artist because I'm a very visual person, right? When I'm listening to music, I'm very visual. So I have to see the artist's vibe and to get a full understanding of what this track means. Again, if you're not promoting your music, if you're not making content, you're kind of dead in the water, right? But it looks like you released this track 4 years ago, right? So there's probably not much you could do now, but that's new to me, right? I guess the melodies was good. I really liked the chorus. The melody on the vocal melody on the chorus was very catchy. You know what I mean? So personally, I guess the song was about bitches loving money. I guess that's cool. But that really depends on the artist. If the artist isn't pushing forward on this vibe, like, so the artist has to match the vibe of the song. When an artist goes into an office meeting with some A&Rs on a label, they're judging you as a whole. If you notice that. They're judging you not only on your music, they're judging you on the way you look, on the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you present yourself. They're putting all that together as a full package, right? And all of that matters. So they can say the music sounds great. Oh, you're amazing. You're very talented. Oh, yeah. But I don't believe you. I don't believe your vibe. I don't believe your message that you're saying. I want to believe you as a person, right? So these are very different, these are different ideas that I present to you. As a producer, when you're making beats, and if you really, this was a demo and he went to jail and the whole project went to shit. Well, okay, all right. That changes things. He went to jail, so he's in jail now. That change, you see, that puts a different picture in my head, right? Suddenly that changes the whole vibe of the track, right? So this gets me to a point of when you're a producer, right? When you're working with artists, it's hard sometimes you don't want to affect their creative, like you don't want to put, you can totally build an artist up in your own image, like the way you want them to look and stuff, but you kind of want to let them be free so they can give you the best possible outcome, right? But sometimes artists need a little guidance. And this is where your job comes in as a producer. You know, you can't be scared to give your opinions on the track or just the overall vibe of the artist himself, right? So you said he went to jail. That's funny, man. That's dope. I mean, this is I mean, it's not dope, but it's crazy. Our job as producers, man, it's so important. There's so much that goes into it. I mean, it's so much work. You know, that's the difference between a producer and a beat maker. If you didn't know the difference between the two, it's pretty much a producer sees a vision in the artist. He sees a vision for the song. He sees a creative direction. He sees a whole package. The producer sees the image, the content that you're going to put out with the song. You have to see all of that when you're making these songs. You have to envision everything. And if there's anything off, if certain parts of that don't match, then the song probably isn't going to resonate with people, right? And that's the trick, right? It's to get your music to resonate with people. That's how you get people to share your music, right? To share your message, your you know. So I applaud all producers here, man. All producers, you guys are really, without us, the artist will have kind of a hard time making these songs, I believe. You know, who was Michael Jackson without Quincy Jones, right? I mean, he was good, yeah. But anyway, another dope submission, man. Thank you for submitting. I think we're going to do one more submission. We got Zodiac by Melodrama. Melodrama, if you're in the chat, let people know. And we're going to listen to Melodrama. I like the artwork on the YouTube. I like that artwork. Let's listen to it. All right. Melodrama. I really, really like that melody. That melody synth was really catchy, man. That like that was catchy, man. I really enjoyed that. Melodrama. If you're in the chat, let us know. There was definitely some mixing issues in that beat, right? I think the melody maybe at times was too loud, or the drums weren't punchy enough, right? But that's also a mixing decision that could probably be fixed that could definitely be fixed. So if you sent that beat to an artist and they had it mixed by their engineer, they can definitely fix that, because the sound selection was good. I love the snare and the 808. I mean, that was exactly what it needed to be. I guess at times that melody did become a little bit repetitive, maybe after like the first 12 bars, maybe during the chorus or something, or right before the chorus, the 4 bars before the chorus, you filter out that main melody, and maybe you sprinkle in a little bit of ear candy, right? But again, the Tetrising of the beat, that's all an arrangement. That's all arrangement. So that, like I said, I mean, I really like the sound, the harmonic texture, and the texture of that synth, that main lead synth. It sounded really good. There wasn't any resonant frequencies in the lower end, because the 808, I mean, maybe the 808 could be a little bit more punchy, and like maybe. I mean, these are really small details that I'm hearing. I could definitely hear somebody rapping on that, right? That melody had a vibe. That melody was a vibe. I'm not gonna lie, right? It was just, sometimes it was repetitive, only by a little bit, because when you're talking repetitive, you don't have to switch the whole beat around. You don't have to do all these crazy things. I mean, you're talking about the slightest variations every 4 bars. Every 4 bars, you do something slightly different with what you have already. Don't start adding all kind of stuff on top. With what you have already, your foundation, one melody, and then maybe some sprinkle of a little bit of melodies on top of that. You know, you filter it down a little bit. You know what I mean? Just work with your filters and volume levels every 4 bars to make subtle variations in your beat. It goes so far, because you got to imagine, I was about to submit a different track, yeah. From what I gather today, we got to let the songs breathe. Yeah. It's the art of space, right? Creating space in the track and not overcrowding the track, and just remembering that if your brain is looking for something, more than likely it's looking for a vocal, right? You don't want to overproduce the tracks. And it's true. I've said it several times. So this is something you guys have to study. When people say create space or leave space for the artist, is because you did too much, right? You did a little bit too much. In this case, in this last beat, I think every 4 bars, if you do a slight variation to that main melody, just a little variation, maybe do a filter, or maybe change one note in there, it'll go so far. So yeah, so like I was saying, you got to think about when if a rapper is rapping on it, they're flowing with the beat, right? And when you create these kind of dips in the beat, it gives them a different energy to maybe go a different route with their flow. You're pretty much driving them along this track, right? Now, granted, great artists don't need any variation in the beat. Literally, maybe like you drop the drums every now and then. A great artist will make his own variation, right? But you're essentially creating the vibe for the artists to flow in, to get into that flow state. So great submission, Melodrama. Great submission. Drums could have been a little bit more punchy, or the melody could have came down a little bit. But as far as frequencies, I don't think there was any frequencies clashing in that one. It sounded great. It sounded clean. It wasn't distorted, which is a really good thing. There's nothing worse than playing a loud, distorted mix. It's better to get a low, clean mix, in my opinion, because I could turn the volume up. Right? So I think we're going to end it here, right? Everyone who submitted, I want you guys to follow me on Instagram, send me a DM so I can keep a track of what you're doing, man. Let's work. Let's grow together, right? Cuz I want to see everyone win. And if you have a passion for this music stuff, start making content. As much energy as you put into the music, you got to put it into marketing your music, because what for? What is it all for, you know? What is it all for? I mean, I understand making beats as a hobby, right? Some people it's therapy, right? But let's take advantage of this, man. Let's take advantage of this. All right, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, because next time I do this, I want you guys to be there, right? Keep submitting your music, and I will get to as many as I can. As many as I can. Yeah, I said that right. All right, bro. I'm going to head out. Peace. Hit me up on Instagram.